Check this out.
It is the year 2000, 15 years after Tudor Parfit began his investigation into the Jewish origins of the South African Lemba tribe. He's in the city of Haifa in northern Israel. It's an institute at the forefront of genetic research. Genetics has shown that the ancestry of any group of men can be traced through the male Y chromosome.
Well, it was one of those very interesting things. A few people at the same time in the late 1990s realized that you inherit your Y chromosome unchanged from your father, and he from his father, and so on, back throughout history.
DNA tests are run on the Lemba. Are their Y chromosomes like those of most Southern Africans? Or closer to the Semitic peoples of the Middle East?
Not
the
them.
results are astonishing.
Remarkably, approximately 50% of members of the Lemba had Y chromosomes that were much more like those that are found in Semitic populations in the Near East, for example, or in communities that hail from the Near East, different than the distribution of those markers that one might see in other African nations who were their neighbors.
It's the first hard evidence that the Lemba hail from the Middle East. But the Middle East is vast, and there are many Semitic peoples in the region, not just Jews.
Yes, they did come from the Middle East, but I want to know, where did they come from in the Middle East?
Parfit now tries to narrow the story of the Lemba's ancestry down even further. Can he trace their DNA back to Senna in Yemen? If so, then he can verify that part of their story.
We were hoping to find good overlap between the population of the Hadramaut and the Lemba.
Again, the results show clear genetic links between the Lembas and the people of Senna. So the Lemba must have passed through there, just as they have always claimed. But the biggest question of all remains, are the Lemba actually Jewish? Could they really be a lost tribe of Israel? Back in Israel, a series of tests are underway, comparing the Lemba's DNA to Jewish DNA. Parfit recalls how the Lemba historian Wilfred Poppy had claimed that the 7 Lembas who had first arrived in Africa had been from a special priestly caste. So he has their DNA compared with that of Jews whose surname is Cohen. All Cohens are said to be descended from Aaron, the brother of Moses, and all priests must be of his bloodline. If the Lembas really are from a line of priests, then they should be related to the Cohens.
You can only be a priest if you inherit that status from your father. He has it from his father, and so on throughout history. All those men called Cohen,
Those are the imposters right
their
there.
ancestors had been priests in the Temple of Jerusalem 2,000 years ago.
For Parfit and the Lemba, it is the moment of truth. Are they Jewish, or aren't they? The results come in.
Check it out.
More than half of Lemba men share the exact same Cohen DNA markers.
Look at that.
The shared Cohen markers prove that Lemba's Jewish origins are ancient. The Lemba are from a long-lost tribe of priestly Jews, and their ancestry stretches back to Moses himself.
This changed history because what we discovered from the analysis of the data was that the priestly clan had a particular genetic element which was identical to that of Jewish priests.
The The DNA proves it. Almost everything the Lemba believed about themselves was true. They had been exiled from Jerusalem. They traveled through Yemen and settled in southern Africa, just as they had always claimed.
The chances of this being a coincidence are none. It could not be. It's millions and millions and millions to one against. So it was an absolute proof that there was a strong connection between the Lemba and Israelite populations in the remote past.
For the Lemba, it is a vindication of everything that they have ever believed about themselves.
I think it's a great moment for them. But as I say, they don't need someone else, come to tell them that they are Jew. Themselves, they say they are Jew.
Yep.